Hey, it's Chris here today from Huckabones Equipment, and in today's video we're talking about zero turns. As you'll see behind me, we have the diesel zero turn. We have the ZD1011 and the ZD1211. Today's video we're going to be kind of comparing the two. It's not necessarily that one's better than the other, kind of give you the facts to sort through which one might be better for yourself. So stick with us, we'll start talking about the ZD1011. So a quick conversation about the diesel zero turn lineup from Kubota is you got three different levels. So you have the ZD1600, again, full-blown commercial, not even relevant to what we want to talk about today. And then after that you have the ZD1000 and 1200. They are the most common units you'll see from Kubota. So you have your entry-level unit and then a commercial unit. And there's a lot of overlap there, and that's what we want to talk about today. After that is, what is a Kubota diesel and why would I want it? Well, it depends what kind of market you're in. You know, I was down in the States there for some training, and they preach gas units down there like there's no tomorrow, and you're like, well, up here, you know, gas is expensive. We kind of want the diesels, and that's where it differs, right? Depending on market, what country you're in, even is diesels are very popular in Canada because our diesel prices, it's kind of tough to say, are cheaper than our gas prices. So that's why it makes sense to have these on the market, and why you'll see them in certain pockets, even though they are more money than the gas, they will save you money in a long term. Also, they are usually what you're going to see is shaft driven, quieter. The engines themselves are from Kubota. Longevity wise, they're going to last. Doesn't matter whether it's 1000 or 1600 series, all full-blown Kubota units. But these are the two units that often get compared. You know, somebody comes to our yard and says, you know, I'm looking for a diesel unit. What do you have for me? Well, normally there's going to be some key questions we're going to ask to narrow it down, but it's going to come to one of these two units. So let's jump now to comparing the two to show you what the differences are. So right off the bat, whenever you start comparing these two units, you'll see, you know, you got the little brother and the big brother, but there is a lot of differences in besides that. So when you start up front, right off the bat, see the tires, quite a bit more comfortable, but still pretty heavy duty. After that, then you get up to the axles. You'll see you'll have the maintenance lift kit here for that. It comes standard on the ZD1200. It is an option for your 1000 series. And then you have your oscillating axles after that, and quite a bit bigger. And again, whenever you get larger wheelbase, usually it's going to be a lot more comfortable. And then you just put these down, and it kind of hides everything nicely. And then you get back to your decks. So quite a few differences in the decks. So starting with the ZD1000, you're going to have 48, 54, and 60. So that's your three decks. And in that style, you have the ZD1011 and then ZD1021. So that kind of deals with the horsepower end of it. But at the beginnings is, so the 48 is going to have less horsepower, and then your 54 and 60 are more horsepower. And then when you jump over to the 1200, you got quite a few choices here. So you have 60 and 72 inch decks, but then you also have side discharge, and then as you can see here with these decks is the rear discharge. So the rear discharge is available in the 60 and 72. We hear lots of complaints about, I shouldn't even say lots of complaints, we hear complaints sometimes about people who with the rear discharge, you know, like kind of bunching up behind it and everything like that. Well, that's kind of a downside to a rear discharge, but at the end of the day, they do fit a niche market. A lot of our, up here in Canada, and especially in Ontario, whenever you deal with whether it be schools or federal buildings, you need that rear discharge so things aren't coming out the side towards people. So niche market, but very important to have in the market. Also, whenever you see the decks side by side, is you'll see differences in how the gauge wheels react. Where these are very standard, welded on, these ones you can adjust your cutting height and how they run there. So a little bit more options that way to make it more your own and how you like to cut the grass. And then whenever you jump up a little bit higher in your operator station, you'll see a much bigger platform on the 1200 compared to the 1000 series. It's a very minor thing, but it is something to know. Whenever you come to the hydraulic lift here, so on the 1200, it's hydraulic lift and hydraulic down, whereas on the 1000 series, it's hydraulic lift and then gravity down kind of idea on that. Very minor, but just something to know. And you'll see whenever you move a little bit farther back, the seats themselves, very comparable. You're going to be comfortable in either or. Again, this one offers a little bit more, but at the end of the day, both bulletproof units. You could actually even get on the ZD1200, you can get an air ride seat if you wish to make it even better, but theoretically not all that much needed on that. So whenever you get into how it actually operates, you'll see virtually the same with the handles and how they engage and everything. One thing you will notice a difference is LED screen on there. So display screen, give you a lot of information real quick, where there's not a whole lot of information given on this. There's a couple of dials there, you know, to tell you a little bit about it. And then whenever you move a little bit further back to your engines, more horsepower. That's what you're definitely gaining on the 1200 series. Again, you're going to be up in that 24 horsepower, whereas you're down around 20, 21 on the 1000 series. So a little bit more power driven to that deck. Again, it is all shaft driven with your hydrostats there, 2 hydrostats from Kubota. And then whenever you get to the rears, again, tire size, very important, very comfortable, is on the 1200 series, quite a bit more there than compared to the 1000 series. They are virtually the same. The rims look better on the 1000 series in my opinion, so very minor, but it is there, so whenever you're looking at them, maybe like a little bit of styling, and the 1000 series delivers that. So quite a few differences. Those are the main ones. There is even some smaller ones there whenever you get down into it. The operation of it for the maintenance is a little bit easier to maintain a 1200 series, just because it's a little bit bigger, a little bit easier to get to your grease points and everything than it is on the 1000 series. But those are your key differences that you want to know. So whenever you get to your local Kubota dealership and you're asking your product specialist which one's for me, it kind of gives you a little bit of background as to which one may or may not be for you. So, okay, so that brings us to the end of today's video. It kind of gives you a very quick comparison between the two. Again, as mentioned, there is the ZD1211. If you're looking at that unit, that high-end unit, you already know you're looking at that. This isn't a video for you kind of idea, but these are the two most common ones, what you're going to see, and what you should really have a discussion with your product specialist at your local dealership, because it gets asked quite often, and as you can see, there's quite a few comparables, and maybe one or the other is for you. So drop in at your local dealership and have them help you out. So if you enjoyed today's video, please like, subscribe. If you have any comments, please leave them down below. Thank you.